Welcome to the College Investor Audio Show, where we talk about the biggest issues impacting millennial money, from student loan debt to side hustles to building wealth. We will show you how to get out of debt so that you can build real wealth for the future.
Hello and welcome to the show today. So glad you're here as we take a look at the average net worth of Gen Z by age. Okay, so the newest group entering the workforce is Gen Z. And like most generational differences, they have a different approach to a whole lot of things, including money. So, how are Gen Z doing financially? And what's the average net worth of Gen Z? Let's dive right in. So first, it's important to realize that the Gen Z age range today is 11 to 26. So for the sake of talking about money and net worth, yeah, you can kind of figure we're only going to focus on 22 to 26-year-olds because, let's be honest, the net worth of 12-year-olds isn't really going to help us understand a whole lot. Which leads to, why should we even care about Gen Z's net worth anyway? Well, like the millennials before them, the media continues to portray young adults in this country as unable to get ahead. But is that really the case? Let's go ahead and check this out, shall we? All right, first of all, who is Gen Z anyway? Gen Z is technically anyone born between 1997 and 2012. Always subject to change, with more people calling those born after 2012 Gen Alpha. But basically, these people are roughly 11 to 26. That's roughly 72 million Americans today. So we more fully break down the Gen Z age range at a link you can find at thecollegeinvestor.com, by the way. So what makes them a unique generation? Well, Gen Z is the youngest generation inside the workforce today, and they're entering the workforce during unprecedented events, like that whole COVID thingy. This generation also has many formative years living through virtual schooling and other never-before-tried activities. So when it comes to money, Gen Z does have some of the highest student loan debt rates of any generation ever. The average Gen Z will graduate college with roughly $32,000 in student loans. We have an article, The Average Student Loan Debt by Graduate Class per Year, and also a podcast with it as well if you want to check that out. So it's kind of a mixed bag when it comes to Gen Z. Like the millennials before them, myself included, they're really hard to define financially, especially at such a young age. So when looking at net worth for Gen Z, these are all the factors to consider. First, we need to consider when the Gen Z individual graduated. If Gen Z is roughly 11 to 26, some haven't even graduated college yet. Well, actually, most haven't. So, however, if you're 26 today, you did likely graduate from college about 4 years ago or around 2019. That was right before the whole COVID thing happened. And second, we need to look at the average salaries of graduates by year. NACE, or NACE, has a great survey of this that they conduct to look at the average salary of college graduates every year. Let's look at how much inflation has impacted starting salaries. Check this out. Class of 19, which would be 26 today, starting salary just a tick above $53,000. And then if we go down to the class of 2022, they would be 23 today and their average starting salary, $62,028. That's double what I started out as. It's literally double what my starting salary was when I graduated in 2008. So Gen Z has some of the lowest college attendance rates, by the way, of the last few generations. More Gen Z individuals are skipping college and jumping right into the workplace. That's something to be aware of. And this can actually have a positive boost on net worth a whole lot earlier than those that did go to college. At 18 or 19, you do have the potential to earn more money without all that debt to pay off. However, since roughly 60% of Gen Z is still attending college, it's really a big factor in the overall net worth picture. Most of our data also relies on college graduation data. And the third thing to consider, we need to discuss student loans here because they're a huge factor in the net worth of Gen Z. So we want to consider the average amount of student loan debt Gen Z had when they graduated. The class of 19, just over $35K. In the class of 2020, $36K. And then it goes up from there. In the class of 2022, the 23-year-olds now have an average student loan debt of $37,570. And finally, we do have to make some assumptions about saving. Remember, net worth is all about assets minus debt. But income does play a massive role in how much income is saved and how much debt is paid off, really does make a difference here. So for the average Gen Z, I'm going to look at average savings rates for the calculation. For all of the above average Gen Z, we're going to factor in IRA and 401k savings, as well as home equity. If we look at year and personal savings rates, the average savings rate for the class of 2019 is 8.1%. That's pretty good. 2020, 13.7%. And then for some reason it goes down. Like in 2021, the personal savings rate was 6.1% and just 3.4% for the class of 2022. Now we dive into Gen Z net worth by age. As we compare the net worth of Gen Z by age, again, we're just looking at 22 through 26-year-olds. I want to look at average and stretch goals because I think it's important to always consider the average, but I also kind of want to leave you with a stretch goal to get yourself in that top 1%. And remember, net worth is assets minus liabilities. And as we discussed just a bit ago, the main assets we're focusing on is savings based on income. The main liability for Gen Z is, of course, student loan debt, but there are other forms of debt, specifically car loans and mortgages, can seriously impact net worth. And finally, I want to go ahead and reemphasize that these are just our estimates. The Federal Reserve data lumps everyone under 35 into one big old bucket. So while we do have some starting points, things can always skew one way or another. And with that in mind, here's the Federal Reserve data for under 35. Median net worth, $39,000. Average net worth, $183,500. However, I think it's a great starting point for discussion, so let's jump into it. Remember, we're polling and estimating based on some very sparse data points, as well as some negative net worth for younger cohorts. This is just an estimate, but based on years of experience, we do think it's fairly accurate. Average Gen Z net worth by age, diving right in here. Age 26, class of 19, net worth negative $13,347. Age 25, class of 2020, a little better, negative $17,293. Age 24, class of 2021, minus $23,700, and class of 2022, average net worth negative $31,500. Yes, the average net worth for Gen Z who are now in the workforce is absolutely negative. We put the average of everyone at right around minus $22,000. It's clear that both COVID and inflation are having a profound impact on this generation in particular. COVID stifled wage growth in 2020, which hurt the class of 2020. Inflation is actually helping the class of 2022 with wages, but costs of goods are also, skyrocketing, if you haven't noticed. And some quick notes here. This assumes that students don't work or work marginally during school, maintain an average amount of student loan debt, and get average employment after graduation. Okay, here's something exciting. The high achiever Gen Z net worth by age. Now that you've seen what the average is, let's go above average, shall we? We shall. Well, anything better than the negative category is going to be above average, but I want to give you a little bit of a stretch goal too. I call this the high achiever Gen Z net worth by age. How do you get here? Here are a few key areas. Eliminate your student loan debt. Oh my goodness. And we have an article titled, How to Eliminate Your Student Loan Debt. You can find at thecollegeinvestor.com. Boost your income by 25%. We have articles on this. Save at least, notice the key word there, at least 25% of your income. This can be through both personal savings or through employer matches to a retirement plan. Okay, the calculations we made basically are the same as the average net worth, but with being student loan debt free and having that 25% higher income. Also, raising the savings rate by 25%. Those things that we use to calculate create these high achiever numbers right here. So the class of 2019, age 26, extreme high achiever, net worth $53,280. Very good. Class of 2020 at age 25, $54,636. Class of 2021 at age 24, high achiever net worth just a tick under $46K. And class of 2022, if you're 23 years old, A net worth of $35,800 is going to put you in that high achiever position. Well done. We want to know your thoughts on this too. Do you think a 23-year-old can actually have $35,000 saved up just 1 year after college? I do think it's possible. Especially the high achievers that started working at 16 or even earlier. Culver's hires at age 14 right now and saved a bunch, minimized student loans, and invested. So I think that these high achiever net worth amounts are very doable. Yeah, a bit of a stretch, but it's not unheard of, and these amounts will clearly make you above average. Probably on track to be a millionaire by the time you're 40. And some quick notes here, the 25 and 26-year-old net worth are near equal due to the calculations around 2020 and, of course, COVID. All right, so here's how to boost your net worth if you're wondering. Because now that you know the average and above average net worth, how do you get to that above average high achiever mark? It's time to start looking at ways to boost your net worth. First, you got to track it. I'm a fan of Empower. It's free, has great tools, and it's online. Empower isn't the only app or tool that can help you, though. You can check out our full list of the best budgeting apps as well at thecollegeinvestor.com. And the great thing is that you're still young. So time is on your side. Time is the biggest ally you have in building wealth. But if you want to grow it fast, we have two more key areas to focus on. The first one is kind of self-explanatory, boosting your income. We mentioned this a little bit earlier, but income is one of the key drivers in building assets and, of course, eliminating debt. The more income you have, the easier it is to grow your net worth. So I'm going to challenge you to earn at least an extra $100 per month. By the way, we have 10 ways to earn an extra $100 a month at thecollegeinvestor.com. We have a great list of ideas to get you started there, and I'm a firm believer that everyone can earn more if they just try. I personally went to college full-time, worked full-time, and managed to side hustle as well. By the way, my full-time job is now the side hustle that I was working on. Anyway, eliminating your debt. This is the second key area because one of the biggest struggles Gen Z have is overcoming a negative net worth and making it positive. So eliminating student loan debt is the key. Leverage that additional income you're making, but also look at student loan repayment strategies to help you lower that debt and get rid of it forever and ever. Amen. Here are some final thoughts. Compared to the average millennial net worth, when they were this age, it does seem that Gen Z is doing, drumroll please, better. However, while Gen Z may be earning more and have a slightly higher, albeit negative, net worth than the previous generation, yeah, they're going to be facing some big headwinds when it comes to the cost of living. They're making more, but everything costs more. As such, it can be harder to grow your net worth. Combine that with all that student loan debt, and it's kind of challenging to get ahead. And the fact is, average is just that. Average. It means that there are people doing better and people doing worse. So keep working on your own situation to improve it and shoot for that high achiever number. We can help you with that, by the way. You can follow us. We are all over social media. Ask questions, get to know us. We'd love to help you along in your journey to being a high achiever Gen Z. At The College Investor, just search for us. We're everywhere. You can also check out, again, I've said this 100 times already, but thecollegeinvestor.com. Tons of articles to help you along as well. Thanks again for stopping by today, and we will talk to you again real soon.